This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues, and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation.
Good evening, everybody. What's going on? This is your boy E Buck, Eric Buckner here, and this is Get Off My Lawn Live here on yet another Sunday. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you had a good weekend and things are going well. We are in the midst of the winter, but hopefully spring will be here sooner than later, and we will be ready to do things and handle a whole bunch of other stuff and all that good stuff. We will discuss such things this evening on the show. We basically got two topics this evening. One will be what happens in the spring, particularly now that it appears that we will soon be declaring the pandemic either over or basically in another phase that is a lesser phase. So we want to talk about that. And also, we want to get into tax season. Of course, this is the time of year where most people are getting their taxes done and their refunds back to them. And at this point, we want to talk about some of the yearly things that we discuss in regards to that in terms of tax, money, safety, and things you should possibly do and things of that nature. So we will get into that discussion as well this evening. Shout out to all the people in the Nighthawk Network support group. We appreciate you guys as always for being a part of just the whole system that is the Nighthawk Network. And shout out to all of you out there who are continuous viewers of the show, whether you view it now or in the rerun later on after the live. We also will be broadcasting the show live from the Instagram platform. So if you guys prefer to watch it on IG, you can check out Eric Hawk 45, and the show will be starting there as soon as we get back from this commercial break. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. When we come back, we will get into tax season do's and don'ts, buyer beware and such. We'll talk about it all when we get back. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. I'm your boy E Buck, and we will be back after these fine words from the Nighthawk Network.
Nighthawk Network presents Pastor Sean Love. Pastor Sean Love, devoted father and husband, a residing pastor at the River Rouge Bible Assembly in River Rouge, Michigan. Join him as he gives us messages from God's Word, Bible study, and encouragement. You can find him on YouTube under Sean Love.
Look at that, David Ford, that's his name. You don't know Tom. Yeah. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
The views and opinions expressed here on Get Off My Lawn Live are those of the host or his guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its associates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised.
Good evening once again, y'all. It's your boy E-Buck. We are back here with Get My Lawn Live. Thank you for joining the show and checking us out this evening. We appreciate you. Basically, this evening, we got two topics, and we're going to get the first one started now. We're going to talk about tax season. As you know, tax season is upon us. For many of you, you have probably already even got your taxes started or completed and basically are waiting for your refund to arrive. Hopefully, if you did either do your taxes yourself or got them done by a tax professional, they are aware of all the different tax changes that have occurred over the last year, particularly in regards to things such as rebates from the government, child tax credits, home tax credits, anything dealing with unemployment. If you were receiving unemployment at some point last year, if you did not receive your stimulus in the last year or the previous year, there are certain things in regards to that as well. So hopefully your tax professional is versed on that. If not, many of those things, they do come when you get some of the tax packages such as TurboTax or the H&R Block. That is, if you get the disc or the program for your computer system or your phone. A lot of those already come with those things already informing you of such things. So you can check it out in terms of that. So if that is the case, then let's move on to what we assume is the good news. You will be receiving a refund soon. And if that is the case, there are certain things I want you to keep in mind as you get to that point. First of all, I know some of you could not wait. The very minute they said it's time to turn them in, you went to your tax professional and said, let's get this done. Let's go. Knowing that these people have the loans as they have for the tax people. In other words, you can get that early return tax loan that people like to give out. Before you do that, I need you to understand two things. One, you don't get nothing for nothing, okay? That's not how the world works. Understand that the people, when they have established that they are going to be giving you the tax loan, are of course going to do everything they're possible to get as much money back for you as they can. At that time, you will get your loan, and also know that that loan comes with a nice interest rate. Some of them more ridiculous than others. So the question I got to ask you is it really that important to get your tax money back immediately? As in right now, let me get it. I need to spend it. Let's go. Is that priority? If it is, for whatever reason that may be, we'll leave it at that. We will let you do what you need to do to get your finances and self in order. But just know that you have gave away money that if you had waited another 2 to 4 weeks, you probably could have received the entire amount thereof. So hopefully that is worth that, if that is the route you go. For those of you who basically get your tax return and immediately look to go to your nearest liquor store or convenience store of note to cash said check, do know that some of these stores charge as much as 5 and even higher than that percent to cash your tax check. So say if you got a check of say like $3,000, good for you. But then in cashing that check at, let's just say 2%, you're giving that store 60, 70, 80 bucks to cash a check. Is it really worth that? Is that really the type of money you want to give away? What could you have done with that $60 instead of giving it to the store? And every year you go about that. And some of y'all get charged way more than that. That's just on the lower end. Is it really worth getting that money so you can spend it right away? Because understand, yes, if you take said check to the bank, more than likely they will put a hold of some 24 to 72 hours on the check before you can cash it. But isn't it better just to wait them a few extra days so you can get your full money, all of your money? as opposed to going straight to the liquor store and basically fattening their pockets as you go blow through whatever that money is. I really say that at this point, if you are an adult, 25 and older, and you don't have some type of bank account, some type of banking card of some sort to put your money on or cash your stuff with, I really need you to really think about that. They better get them a bank account. I agree with you, Brother Hugh. Absolutely. Thanks for checking in, by the way. But yeah, I really don't see where it is such a necessity to get that money so quickly that you just basically give part of it away. Now, we all know that some of you will use your money responsibly. You will do what you need to do to pay your bills and catch up on some of the stuff that you're behind on, either from the pandemic or just in general. You will be extremely responsible with the money. We also know there are some of you, and y'all know who you are. When y'all get that money, it's tax baller time. We ballin', we ballin'. Run that loot, let's go. Shout out to Ro checking in on the Instagram this evening. Thank you, Ro, for coming in. We appreciate you. But yes, tax ballers, I need you to think about the years of tax baller past, okay? You tax balled with the money. What did you do? It's the usual stuff. You went on that immediate vacation. How much money did you spend? What did you come back with? Was it worth it just to get away for a week? Is that money that later on down the line you could use for something else? Did that happen last year to you? You went on vacation, but then all of a sudden you came back months later, you catch COVID, and now you can't go to work, and all that money you spent on vacation, you sure probably could have used at that point, couldn't you? Think about stuff like that. When you went out and bought all the expensive crab leg and steak dinners and all of that at all the tax baller sites. Shout out to my former employer. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, those are the days that they wait for because they know you're coming and you spending the money, you spending it big time, and they want you to spend as much of it with them as you can. So yeah, that helps the economy, but does it help your economy? If basically you receive a tax refund of, let's say, $2,000 or more, and you are broke within 30 days of that time, which includes you working as well, was it really worth it? If you look around your household right now and you see several things that you bought with your tax balling in years past, I say that's actually a good thing. You at least got something to show for you spending that type of money. But if you don't, if all you got out of it was a good time, a few hangovers, a few days of being extra high, is that really good usage of that money that you worked so hard for, that the government that finally gave you back to utilize, and you just threw back out there in quick fashion? Rhoda saying they should be using their tax money on bills and rent. Exactly. And then also understand, people, that most of you will receive a large refund for one reason and one reason only. Them children. The children, as Big Meech would say, because of the children. Because you got 2, 3, 5, 7 children. And basically you have claimed them all and got back that max refund because of them, knowing that the child tax credit will be increased this year due to the Biden relief plan and things of that nature. So you may be looking at $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. What did you use that money on? Bottom line, let me tell you, okay? And understand, I don't live a perfect life, and I don't have room to talk with all of this, but it's something I would think about if I was receiving that type of tax refund, which I won't because A, I don't have no kids, and B, that's just how it is. Bottom line, if I got $15,000 coming back to me outside of my work money, and I don't have a house, I don't have a car of my own, I don't have basic appliance A, B, and C, which is basically refrigerator, stove, bed, something wrong with that. If I done got $15,000 back, and I got, say, 2-3 kids, and only maybe a few hundred of that went on the kids, that's bad. Because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be getting that, okay? Am I saying spend it all on them? No, I ain't saying that. You should spend some of it on you. But you also should spend some of it on them. How you gonna be out here tax balling, buying Gucci bags and Yeezys and whatnot, and your kids still walking around with school clothes from government places, City Trends, and basically shoes from the shoe factory and such? What's up with that? Is that really fair? You done tax balled out, went to Red Lobster and whatnot with your share of the money, but then you done bought the kids McDonald's Happy Meal. If you're gonna tax ball, can the whole family tax ball with you? So I ain't mad if you use part of that money, y'all take everybody to Disneyland and whatnot. But in the same token, if that's all you did with that 12, 15,000, that's something I need y'all to really think about, okay? Shout out to Guy Mahaji in the building. What's up, Mahaji? What's going on? But yeah, these are some of the things that you need to think about before that money hits your account in your hands, okay? You need bank account, people. Stop going to these liquor stores and breaking bread with them like that, okay? And then another thing, hey, what's going on? Again, some of y'all have habits. Y'all know what they are. Y'all likes to, when the tax baller season come, get it in. No, we're not buying the usual little beer and whatnot. We getting that top shelf. We want that Hennessy. We want that 1942. We want the big bottle of the Patron. All that type of stuff. When that's gone 2-3 days later, and you still owe on A, B, C, D, E, was it worth it for that quick fun time? Think about that one. Okay. Bottom line is we still don't know how this all gonna play out. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but we don't know how this whole corona thing gonna play out the rest of the year. Remember, this time last year we thought, yeah, it's about to be over. They got these doggone vaccines and things now. By the summertime, everything should be back to some semblance of normal. I know that's what I was thinking last year about this time, but it didn't quite go that way, did it, people? And meanwhile, y'all all went out and had a good time and all of that. And then the winter came, and then every other person we know end up catching the wrong on Roni. E-Buck, what's going on? With that type of money, I'll be jumping over puddles of crystal. See? If that is your thought process, that's going to be a problem. Because especially when you go to your folks and say, yeah, I got my tax money. Well, can you help me? I can't help you do nothing. It's my money. Have your own kids. Get your own tax money. But then a couple months later come up, that's Stan that said that. Hey, what up, Stan? Happy belated birthday to you, by the way. It was Stan Mason's birthday yesterday. For those of you who did not know, feel free to wish him a happy birthday in the comments. But yeah, bottom line, you done spent up the money and now you need money, and you come to those same people like, what's up with that? Oh, hold on. There you go. Sorry about that, Mahaji. You should be able to hear now. I apologize for that on the IG, for those of you who could not hear me. But look, what it boils down to, people, is this is the time of year where you need to sit down and be a bit more responsible than we have in the past. If been in you that took the last 5 years of tax money and balled out, what's the conversation about that? Basically, we're talking about the tax refund cycle, Stan, and basically trying to determine what to do, what are the wise things to do with the money, what are some of the things we need to look out for as we get these refunds. And let's talk about that while we're on the subject. People, they're waiting on you. And who is they? Them scammers, them people that like to get over on folks. They look forward this time of year because they know you getting the money and you anxious to spend it. And they want you to spend some of it with them, or they basically want to get some of it from you. So keep in mind, while you're taking your tax money to the convenience store and having to give them all this extra information because they say we need all that to cash your check, hopefully that the people that work at the store there are dealing with you the right way. That Joe or Habib or whoever your store names person may be is a honest, forthright individual that's basically using that information just to make sure that when they take it to the bank, they can get it properly cashed for them. And they're not using your information to give it to other people who then in turn can use that information to steal your identity, for instance, to break into your account once you set it up, that type of thing. Remember, a lot of y'all gonna be like, well, I ain't about to go out here and be in all these stores because everybody gonna be at Walmart buying TVs and at Target getting this and that. I'm gonna go online and get all my stuff. I'm going to order it through Amazon and let it come to the house. Question is, are you always gonna be at the house? Is somebody always gonna be watching? If you're not watching on the inside, trust and believe there are people that will be watching on the outside. Over $20 billion in the last 2 years have been taken off people's porches due to porch piracy. Over $20 billion. Basically, that figures out to about 1 out of every 3 persons that order 5 or more things in a year get at least one of those things taken from their porch. I can vouch for that. I've been pirated a time. Funny part is I caught who did it though. Caught them right on time. They very lucky. They very lucky. Because by rights, I probably should have got a charge for that one. Because I was going. But anyway, I carry on. Okay, new thing. You know you're funding the Taliban and on a no-fly list. Better use banks. Absolutely use banks. Or open your account. That's what grown folks do. Oh, okay. I hope everyone has the same concept to spend their taxes as they do their paycheck. However, they need and want. As long as bills are paid, kids are good, and you put some up for a rainy day, do as you please, I guess. And I will definitely vouch for all of that. Because bottom line is, if you got $10,000 or more in taxes back, you should not be broke no time soon as far as I'm personally concerned. You got to put some of that up. There's no need to buy all these things. Besides, if you want to basically invest in things later on down the line, you probably should, because right now, remember, not only are we still in the midst of pandemic, we're still in the midst of inflation right now. Prices are going up. They will continue to go up. But maybe 6 months from now, we're in a whole different ball game. That suddenly that thing you wanted to buy right now, that you feel like you had to have right now, might be $100, $200 less at that point. How badly do you really need it? I know you don't really need a new TV that bad. If you can afford that $800, $900 TV, guess what? You got a TV at the house already. You got at least a couple of. You ain't got to have the deluxe, boy. That stuff you want to put on the car. So summertime, you could be like, hey, look at me, look at me. For somebody to eventually come along and damage it or steal your car because now you made it more attractive. Is that really the smartest move to invest that money in? I'm going to be broke as soon as it hits my account. I'm in the process of buying a house. Now, see, that I have no problem with. That is a very wise investment of the money, particularly if you don't have a house. Buying a house, a car, investing in your child's education, anything like that, you have no arguments from me. You absolutely not only can do that, you should do that. That's just wise, particularly in a day and age where if you try to go get a loan for such things, it's going to be harder to do because of inflation and such, and particularly if you are people of color, because you know how hard that can be, particularly if you have not established any credit or basically have no relationships with these banks and things of that nature. All the stuff that has made it hard in the past for people like ourselves to get loans on that level. So if you had the money outright to do it now, that's probably the best thing to do with it. Because I will safely assume that next year's tax money won't be as big, because some of those things that they have currently in place are only because of pandemic and Biden relief plan and such. So take advantage when you can. And yeah, it's definitely better to buy your car outright than to pay the note. We know this. So if you can afford to buy one outright and just do a couple little tune-ups to make it right, you better off doing that than getting the lease and such. You already know these things. If you don't know these things, these are things that we need to learn before we spend the money. Because when we get the money, the thought is, okay, well, I got money. I want this. I got enough money for this. Boom, bye. We don't think about none of the rest of it. We just consider that possibility. My taxes is only $300 more than before the pandemic. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. But see, like I said, I tie in tax ballers to three things. One, either you have money and the tax money is just extra, in which case you spending your extra money. And who am I to tell you how to spend your extra money? Just E. All these things are just probably, some of y'all like, whatever, E. I'm going to do me. If you are getting that extra tax money, more than likely you got children. So please consider more than just you if you have not been doing that. Bottom line, if you got 10, 12,000 because of man, little mama and them, please make sure you look out for man, little mama and them. Don't have them looking like little ragamuffs while you done went and bought all designer this, that, and this. That ain't right. That is not right. Don't do the children's like that. Don't do it. I agree. Just eat. But yes, you got to understand, people, that part of what the government is fully expecting you to do once you get that money is throw it right back into the system. Understand that. You are looking out for them by doing it that way. They want you to stimulate the economy, particularly now that we are in the election cycle and the Democrats want to be like, well, yeah, the economy can't be that bad. Look at all the money everybody spent in the last 3 to 6 months. Knowing that part of the reason they even got that money was because of tax money. That is part of the game they will play. On the other hand, they'd be like, well, yeah, look at taxes, but we were getting more taxes back when we had the tax breaks under the previous administration. Republicans going to play that game. And we'll be going back and forth with all this mess all year. But bottom line is, if you got it now and you can invest in yourself now and yet put up money for later, let's do that. Let's be smart about it. But also let's be wise about how we spend it and who we spend it with. Because, yeah, we know there are reputable places like Amazon and Walmart and Target that you can order from. And there is this basically paper trail that you can track to make sure your things are safely delivered and safely got to you, and all your accounts stay private. But then there are those other places, those lessly known places where you can invest your time and energy and your money into, and then your stuff don't come, and then suddenly that account is drained and all of that. It happens every year, folks. Not to mention, if you go to the store and you're just whipping out the money cards and whatnot, the cash apps and everything you to put the money on, you never know who's behind you writing down your info to type it in later on somewhere else. Because in the end, all they really need is that info. And they could work out something. You know what I'm saying? These are things we don't think about at the time. We in the moment, and in the moment, we just got to spend it. We got to spend it because we got to have it. We got to have it because we need it. But then when you look up a couple months later, it's a whole nother story. Oh, why did I spend all that money? I know it's been a few of y'all over the years that have come to that conclusion. Why did I spend all that money on ... and basically have nothing to show for? So as this money comes to your pockets and to your, hopefully your accounts, please keep these things in mind. Be mindful of the scammers and all these other folks out here as you spend your money. If you can, please try to track your spending of the money so you can at least, when it's all said and done, be like, okay, that's the money I got. This is what I spent it on. Boom, 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 boom. And if you can look around your house months from now and that stuff is still things you can see and touch and feel, then I feel like you've done right by the money. If in the end, all you got is a couple quick memories, a couple quick hangovers and buzzes and whatnot, couple good meals out the deal, couple good time Charlie episodes. Was it really worth all that? I know we only live once and all of that. I get that. But sometimes we need to look more long term than short term when it comes to these types of things. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, like I said, the money's coming. Be wise. Use this, okay, before you get the. That's all I'm saying. That being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into topic 2 of the evening, which is, looks like they're ready to end the pandemic. Are you really ready? And more importantly, here's some short-term and long-term things we need to look at. We didn't talk about this before, but now it looks like it's really about to happen. So I really need to know, are y'all ready? I am, but I'm concerned. And I will talk about why when we get back. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. I'm E-Buck, and we'll be back after these messages from the Nighthawk Network. Let's see. There's one in particular I want to play right about now. Where it go? Well, we'll find it. But in the meanwhile, check this out, y'all.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
If it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? If it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? If it wasn't for your grace and mercy surrounding me, protecting me, where would I be? Oh yeah, your grace and your mercy keeps me when I don't obey. Your grace and your mercy renew for me every day. Your grace and your mercy is why I am here today. Your grace and your mercy don't take it away. Lord, I pray. Your grace and your mercy keep me when I don't obey. I thank you, Lord. Your grace and your mercy do for me every day. Your grace and your mercy is why I am here today. Your grace and your mercy don't take it away. Lord, I pray protection when I'm in some deep trouble. Yeah, my guiding light trials I do not need to fight.
All right, y'all, we are back. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. E-Buck in the building. And we are now talking about the beginning of the real end of the pandemic. Or is it? First of all, we all can acknowledge the fact that it's been reported, sure, for those of y'all who've been keeping up with it, that in the last 3 or 4 weeks, the numbers for people contracted the coronavirus have been down significantly. Hospitalizations going down, deaths going down. That being said, we still have about almost 2,000 people a day dying from coronavirus or coronavirus-related illnesses. We have almost 100,000 people still contracting coronavirus on a daily basis here in the United States alone. And basically, there are still high-profile people, such as the Queen of England and Justin Bieber, who has recently contracted COVID-19. So because of that, I have to tell you that, yeah, even though it would appear based on these things, the end is near, we are still not quite where we need to be. Now, actually, there was a discussion here locally with one of the news outlets in regards to Corona and the thoughts of people in regards to what they should do now in regards to mask mandates and such. I was a part of that conversation. Unfortunately, I was not able to edit the tape in time to give y'all what I had to say or the question that was asked on my behalf by Roop Raj. Shout out to Roop Raj, who probably will not see this podcast, but at least want to acknowledge the fact that he acknowledged me by acknowledging him. He is a local newscaster here at Fox 2. But nonetheless, in that conversation, many people, I would say the majority, in fact, are basically saying that, yeah, I'm not trying to wear the mask when they end the mask mandates. I'm not wearing one no more. I'm not doing this. I never did get the vaccine. I had Corona. I was fine, so on and so forth. And once upon a time, I feel like the people like myself who chose to get the vaccine and chose to have the mask mandates and all that, we were the majority. Now I would say we are definitely in the minority. I would say the vast number of people here in the country are ready to declare COVID-19 pandemic over and get back to what is ever going to be normal. Now, keep in mind, I also say that because with the exception of Hawaii, all states have said that at the end of the month or even sooner, they are going to kill all the mask mandates for indoors. Several states, of course, never did adopt those mandates to begin with. So for them, it's no problem. But yeah, when it comes to wearing masks in school and whatnot, most school districts have also determined that, yeah, probably starting March 1st, there will be no mask mandate and that your child can wear one if they choose to, but it will not be required in most areas. There are, however, places like the Detroit public school system that said they will still follow the suggestions of the CDC, which of course leads to that. The CDC, what are you going to do? Are you going to change the mask mandates or whatnot? According to what's being reported sometime in the next week or two, they are. But they still want to do a little bit more research into the current numbers and go from there. Now, I say that at this point, barring a severe spike in the next week or two, which probably will not happen because there are no holidays coming up outside of course, good old St. Patrick's Day. That could be interesting. That we are definitely going to be saying, yeah, let's kill it. Let's move on. Let's move forward. Let's open everything back up. Let's see what happens after that. If you notice, they have stopped professing so much, get the vaccine, get the vaccine. You have seen less of those commercials in the news cycles. If you also notice that in a lot of your bigger box stores and whatnot, they have already said, you know, if you vaccinated, wear one. If not, you ain't got to. A couple of the local casinos here have said that they're going to kill the mask mandates. So that's definitely going to increase the amount of people you'll see walking through those doors, particularly since we are in tax baller season again. Casino definitely a popular place for tax ballers to frequent during that time. Basically, I got all this money and I might as well try to get some more money at the casino, that part. How much sense does that make? Anyway, my mother contracted COVID but had no symptoms. Glad that is the case. Unfortunately, I did find out a couple people that I know this week have indeed contracted Corona. And unfortunately, last week, somebody who is close to me lost a close friend of theirs due to COVID-19 as well. So prayers and shouts out to you, my friend. Tax ballers, absolutely, Mr. Muhammad. You know what it is. You know how they get on. But yeah, that being said, people, Here's what it boils down to. I got after getting the shot. I believe he said he got the virus after getting the shot. And unfortunately, my friend, a lot of people did. I think that's part of what the problem boils down to when it comes to the whole being vaccinated and boosted. Yeah, I got that's what you meant. The fact that people felt like, okay, I have been vaccinated, I should not be getting COVID at all. Now, of course, they never flat out said that, but it was to be assumed based on how they portrayed it that that would be the case, that more than likely you would not receive COVID at all. But then I do also have to point out that that was during the time when we did not know the corona known as Omicron, which basically, as they said when it started, was far more contagious. And as we have learned in the last couple of months, most definitely is far more contagious than the other ones. Because that's the one that seemingly everybody caught. The vast majority of the world right now who is currently dealing with COVID-19 is dealing with the Omicron variant thereof. Now, what we also learned is that that one doesn't appear to be as deadly as some of the earlier viruses, but yet and still, we still, like I said, got 1,500 to 2,000 people dying every day from COVID or COVID-like symptoms or complications from having COVID, whatever the case may be. Now, understand, we know tomorrow you're going to wake up, COVID will still exist. Even if everybody decided tomorrow to take the vaccine, COVID at that point will still exist. At this point, it's no longer about the health of the people, okay? Let's be very clear and honest. It's about finance, money, the 1% getting their piece of the pie that they have been missing out on these last couple of years, okay? I caught it in a month or two before. Oh, don't know how to spell it. Yep, I got you. But yeah, what it boils down, this is all a money thing at this point. Remember, we are in a political year, people. And if you are a person and you basically say, yeah, I'm a Republican, the Democrats in charge, what have they done? My money is less, inflation is up, we still dealing with COVID. What is you doing over there, President Biden? You ain't getting it done. Hey, friend Eric. Hey, what's going on, friend Amy? Good to hear from you, my friend. If you are a Democrat, you are saying, yeah, I voted for you, Biden, but you said the first thing we got to do is deal with the virus, and it's a year later, and we still ain't got nowhere. What up with that? At least Stupid was on TV explaining stuff. We hardly see you, and when you do come on TV, you're not telling us enough of what we want to hear. You said you was going to get this done and that done and this done. They're not passing these bills. They're not working with you like you said. He's going to be able to get them to work with you. What do you do? So now here comes all the explanations, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what we should do. And they're not doing that because of this. But if we're in charge, we're going to do this. Hold on. That mouse is dying on me again. Come on, mouse. There we go. It's been about money and politics since the election. Sadly, true. Sadly, true. Biden dropped the ball on every level. I can't argue that point, Will. I got my test in the mail. Seems to be the only thing besides the free vaccine that the government has done. Yeah, that part. Yeah, they was quick to pass out the mask and whatnot, but then, of course, right as they're all starting to come in the mail, they're starting to say, yeah, we about to try to stop having mask mandates and whatnot. As you know, they tried to pass the thing saying that everybody that had a company of 100 people or more need to have everybody fully vaccinated or tested every week. You see that didn't fly. That was more costly of people than it was helpful for people. At this point, y'all, it's no longer about health, okay? Unless we get to some ridiculous numbers, like maybe early on, in terms of people dying, that is. At this point, it's going to be monitored and dealt with differently, okay? It's going to get to that point maybe 3 months from now where they barely even report on what the numbers are on a daily basis. Mine are coming Tuesday, says William. is going to be to the point where they're going to be like, okay, how many people in the hospital? Oh, 25%, that ain't bad. How many people died? Just 50? Yeah, 50 is cool. We are going to get to that point, people, and it's going to be sooner than later, where they say, okay, how many of y'all got it? That ain't bad. Keep it moving. We not closing nothing. We not shutting down nothing, okay? Unless there are like severe outbreaks in certain places where they'll probably shut down that place and just that place and have those people isolate. At this point, when they open it back up, starting next month, is open. It's staying open. You're going to deal, okay? Because ideally, the plan, I believe, is for them to say, okay, as long as we get the numbers close to the numbers for what people die of the flu, for what people contract the flu every year, which is not as high a number as people would think it was. Because some people like the same amount of people died from coronavirus that they did from the flu. Spanish flu maybe, but not the regular flu, no. You basically looking at 20 to 50,000 people a year. Right now, coronavirus has killed over 900,000. Those two things don't equate. Okay, basically 50,000 times 3 as opposed to 900 in 3 years. No, those are two different numbers. All right. Basically, we have lost city worth of people as opposed to an area worth of people. But in the end, if they can get those numbers close to that, they're going to live with that. Okay, they're not going to worry about you getting vaccinated no more. They're not going to worry about you wearing your mask. They're not going to worry about your social. They don't care about none of that. At that point, those of you who chose not to, if you are the people, especially if you are the people that start to die from COVID, the vast majority, like, well, 98% of those people weren't vaccinated. Oh, well, there's going to be that. But then, of course, there are some of you that are thinking the opposite. Those of you who chose not to get vaccinated, you are thinking it may just be a matter of time before what's really wrong with that vaccine start hitting y'all. And suddenly all of y'all stop dropping like flies. And then you'll be the ones like, see, I told y'all not to take that vaccine. I told you it was going to be some stuff that happened. They didn't research it enough. Blase split. Because no, I know it's going to be like that because every time you find out one person who has been vaccinated has died, for example, Betty White not too long ago, oh yeah, that's what killed Betty. She died because she took that booster a couple weeks ago. We're just going to forget the fact that Betty White was 99 years old, okay? We're just going to gloss over that fact. It had to be the vaccine because Betty was strong. Did nothing else kill Betty, but now she gone. Those types of things. Whenever there is a problem now, particularly a health issue, particularly somebody older, particularly somebody high profile that we know has taken a vaccine, that's going to be one of the first things people talk about. I think most people are missing the point. Men don't control who lives and dies. When a person dies, it was just their time to go. None of us are getting out of this life alive. Basically, that is nothing but truth. We were all born to die of something. But that don't necessarily mean you go out seeking death either. I will say that much. That doesn't mean that, okay, I know I'm going to die of something. Let me just put balls to the wind and do me. They told people at my job that if you're fully vaccinated, you have permission to not wear masks. And yeah, most places are going to start having that, Hugh. You might as well get used to it, brother. Particularly once March 1st hits and most of these states have killed their mandates, that's absolutely going to be the rule of thumb for most places. Basically, they're going to put it out there like that because that way that takes away a lot of the possibility of being sued and things later on. Like what we said, if they was fully vaccinated, that person wasn't vaccinated and they died and whatnot, that wasn't on us. You see, our company policy was clear. We put it that way. That's how they're going to play that. But the question of the day is this: how are you going to play it? Because as you see, they all have made this a bunch of, you take away my personal freedom. I can't be me individually because you want me to do as the masses do. Y'all sheep for taking the vaccine. Y'all sheep for not taking the vaccine. Whatever the case may be. They basically passing the buck at that point to all of us. Okay? Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, hey, well, I don't have to wear the mask. Bye-bye. Don't need that anymore. Throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. Or are you going to be like, I know they said they ain't worried about us wearing it, but I'll be damned. I'm putting this sucker on. I know it's still COVID out here. You ain't going to get me like that. No, thank you. And then we'll get to those arguments. He came in with a mask. He trying to make my business look bad because he masked up. Ain't no corona in here. That's why we put him out. He was the only person in the place wearing a mask. He was the only person in the place not wearing a mask. There'll be some of those arguments go back and forth. I'm worn out with all of it in regards to this virus of people. And a lot of us are. That is why at this point, we got to go here. Yes, I'm concerned that there's still enough virus out here to wipe out another couple 100,000 of us. But that being said, I know I'm looking around and I'm considering everybody's feelings. And a lot of us, we can't deal with COVID no more. We got to at least try to make it work. We got to try to have life with COVID in it. I just don't understand why we feel like we are better than the country where it comes from. Y'all remember that country, China, where supposedly the virus was created or born or whatever your conspiracy theory have you believe? Remember, that is a country where many of them wore masks even prior to COVID. And where now many of them wear masks by choice. Not just because the government requires it, but by choice they wear it. What makes them any better than we? Except for the fact that we have more say-so over our personal lives than, say, Chinese people or Russian people or Japanese people. Just because we have that say-so, does that make us have better lives than they? Hey, what's going on? We got other people checking in from the IG. Hola, hermana. Shout out to my sister, Ash. COVID is here to stay, the new normal. Absolutely, my friend, absolutely. All-Star game on. See you later. All right, thanks for checking in, Will. We appreciate you. I still wear a mask because I'm less likely to get a cold or flu while wearing it. And then there's that part. And a lot less people have been getting the flu or a cold because of masking. That's why I definitely say that in terms of a large crowd, wherever I may be, especially in these next 6 months, after all of this, he will still have one of these. Going to the movies, going to the casino for sure, going out to the plaza and all that for the summer jams and all that type of stuff. Oh, yeah, I'm masked up. Talk about me, look at me crazy. I don't care. Yep. As you said, I still wear my mask too, as you should, my friend. As you should, my personal opinion. But my question to you guys is, are you ready? I know some of y'all are ready for something. Y'all just tired of me talking about this every week to some degree. That is why I've had people hit me up on the network and say, look, I like what you talk about, but when you get to talk about that COVID, I tune out. I'm tired of it. I don't want to talk about that no more. I want to ignore it. And for some of y'all have. But also, y'all some of them same people that will pop up on my timeline weeks later. Dang, I got COVID. I can't believe it. So on and so forth. And unfortunately, there are those of you who had that story and y'all no longer have that story to tell. I will no longer see you on my timeline because you no longer exist. And part of it was unfortunate because, as Will said, it was your time to go. But also part of it was because you were stubborn. And basically, when all was said and done, you became a victim of the process. The truth is always timely, saying Big Joe. Absolutely. I agree, my friend. I agree. But yeah, so like it or not, people, it is about to happen. COVID is about to end, at least in its pandemic form here in America. And we need to be able to deal with whatever it is and understand the thing that comes from it also is the fact that now we have to deal with some of our other problems here in the country. Some of those other problems such as racism and sexism and unfair labor practices and Me Too movement and all these other things that kind of took a back seat to the pandemic at the time. We definitely want to deal with this political cycle because that name, the name of the man I call the Orange Clown, that's going to come up a lot. The name of Biden is going to come up a lot. There are going to be changes, okay? I would guess that we are not going to have a Democratic Senate, a Democratic House of Representatives, and a Democratic president after November 3rd or whatever election day is this year. One of those houses, if not a couple of them, are going to change. And that's going to make getting things done that much worse. Because you see with the majorities in all these places, how difficult it still has been to get some of the things that I feel most Americans actually want to happen, to actually get done. Inflation, we definitely going to deal with that for the next several months, because bottom line is the one percenters, the people with the cashola, they want that money back. They want to make up for those profits that they have lost, even though some of them have continued to make money during pandemic. And a nice amount of it, I might add. Record profits even in some cases. But yeah, we got to make up for lost time with the money, y'all. So like it or not, COVID about to be declared over. And good luck to those of you who've been out here the whole time. You didn't get vaccinated. You somehow didn't manage to catch it. Congratulations. Hopefully your luck and your prayers and all that continues. For those of you who have been foolish, that actually have that story, like, I done caught it 5 times now. All I got was a little sick for a few days. I'm okay. If you feel like it's going to keep being that way, so be it. Hopefully we don't have no other variants that pop up that's stronger than any of the ones we have dealt with once we open everything up and the germs just get to bouncing around. Both houses will return Republican, but blame that on the feckless Democrats. In the end, half of that will be the fault, particularly people like Senator Manchin and Sigma and other people that chose to straddle the fence or basically play one way or really want to deal another way. And who knows why their opinion is that opinion. I think part of it is just plain old boy stubbornness. Part of it is but yeah, that's a discussion for another day. We have all the rest of the year talk politics and all these other issues that we will have, okay? Now, some of you have reached out and y'all want me to talk about today's event that happened in the world of sports. I have a sports podcast for that, so I'm going to do that. However, I also have a new sports podcast that I'll be introducing this week, audio. The name of that sports podcast is Big Sports Podcast. It will be an audio podcast, and it will be one of these things I'm calling out a mini cast, where basically I will use 10 to 15 minutes to discuss a particular sports issue or issues, and I will have that on the audio so that you can listen to them in your car, wherever you may be, and it won't take you all day to listen. So hopefully you'll like it, and you will comment and send all your thoughts in regards to that. We will also post those on the network as well. Big Joe is saying, no, we already talked about that. But yeah, people, we got that going. But of course, we also have the podcast known as Game Time Audible on Wednesday, where we will talk about that incident and sure other things related to said incident. For those of you who are familiar with Dr. Marla Facey and her show, No Weapon Formed Against Us, that is now on Mondays. That show is now on Mondays, and I will actually be a guest on that show tomorrow, led by my cousin, Dr. Facey, and her new co-host. And we will be talking about life of single people and living single in the world of 2022 and such. Looking forward to that conversation. Thank her for inviting me to be part of that discussion. Also want to shout out those guys at Dish and Tea. I was on there Friday night discussing, and tonight is Sunday. Said what I said Sunday, so they usually have some pretty good discussion in regards to that. Also, shout out to Big Joe and Stan over there at Behind the Blue Curtain, the show that they do on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Of course, they did not do that show yesterday because it was Stan Mason's birthday. Happy birthday, Stan. What else? Pastor Sean Love, he is back and he has some episodes for us. I will get you guys caught up on those now that we got the Nighthawk Network back to normal. You know, we had some issues for a few weeks, but now we're pretty much back fully operational. Kenyatta Peoples checking into the broadcast. Hey, Kenyatta, thanks for checking out the show. Appreciate it. Would definitely like to have you on, my friend. Definitely lots of things I could talk to you about, particularly in regards to the city and city government. So, yeah, if you are wanting to be on the show, please hit me up in my messenger so we can make that happen, Miss Peoples. Thank you very much. And for those of you who I've talked to about coming on the show, or you basically want to come on the show to discuss various issues or some of your things you are doing in terms of your business or your future business even, we can have that discussion. You may hit me up a couple ways. One, you can hit me up here on Facebook and my Facebook Messenger. That's Eric Buckner in the Facebook Messenger. You can also reach me. Hold on. Let me get that info for you guys. You can also reach me right there at the Gmail for the Nighthawk Network. That is nighthNetwork313@gmail.com. Again, also for the people here on IG, you can reach me in my IG messenger at EricHawk45 or at nighthNetwork313@gmail.com for those of you who are interested in being on the show. And we could definitely have that discussion. Also want to shout out other people who support the Nighthawk Network. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And we will continue to talk about the things we need to talk about as people, the trending topics of the week, and all that good stuff. But we will be doing that next week. For now, we're about to head on out. Again, check out Dish and Tea this evening. Should be checking in about 9:15 with Big Meech, Aunt Nikki, Big Guy Ally, and whoever chooses to be part of the audience for the Say What I Said Sunday. Please check them out. And hopefully I will see some of y'all tomorrow when I'm on Dr. Marla Facey's No Weapon Formed Against Us. I believe that will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Monday. So check us out and let us know what you think and all that good stuff. But until then, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. And we are about to head on out. Again, for those of you who are wondering what happened to the show that we were doing in regards to Helena Hologram, the tribute to her, that is still in the works. We still will be making that happen. I have not forgot about my good friend H2. Always will be a part of the network. You will definitely note that by what you see at the end of this broadcast. So as we hit you with the outro, please check out the very last thing that broadcast before we head out. That being said, I will catch you guys tomorrow or next week here on Get Off My Lawn Live. Have a great week. Be safe. Pandemic on the way being over, but not over. Just be wise in your practices. Better safe than sorry. That's all I'm saying. Till next week, y'all. Deuces.